Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Diabolical Souls Presents as we do the finale for Blue Eye Samurai tonight, episode 8, The Great Fire of 1657. And as always, I have my friends with me here, amateur analyst and Stupenzo, but I believe we have a special guest tonight. We have another edition.
No.
So let's bring out the man who is the master at Shiko training, the man that just knows everything about, kung fu, everything. He's just the master. He's the sensei, none other than Copa Catania.
Good
Thank
evening,
you, master.
gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat.
Are you actually a karate guy?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely a karate guy. I'm training right now as we speak. I call them hummingbirds.
Okay.
So
yeah.
you can't see it with your eye, but I'm doing it.
I know what the hummingbirds are.
Yeah, you got it.
That's how I got the gooch originally, because he taught me a special
Got a six-pack down there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's ripped.
Well, yeah. I mean, his gooch is ripped, guys. I've seen it.
It's very defined.
It really is. Like, how do you work out a gooch? And he does it.
Oh, I'll show you.
Hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds, right?
What's up, everyone? Welcome. I hope you guys are excited to do this finale, episode 8, Blue Eye Samurai. I've really enjoyed this series. Again, when it comes to comparison to Arcane, as we like, Arcane's kind of the elite of the elite when it comes to animation, at least in the last 5 years. Blue Eye Samurai is up there. So thank you guys for joining me doing this review. I've enjoyed it. And Copa, thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. And thanks for recommending the show to me. Fantastic show. I'm glad I caught up just in time for episode 8. Glad to be here. I'm sorry, guys. I have to go back and watch the shows because I didn't want it blown for me. But yeah, here I am. Right. I caught all up. And dude, fantastic storytelling.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear your comments as we go through, and then give your final take as we get to the end. And I'm really curious about Amateur and Stupenzo and what their takes on it, because we've really enjoyed, especially the writing, is the dialogue. It's just top notch. Really like that, the writing in this series. So, well, let's get into it. Let's get cracking through this, and let's bring it up. Netflix, thank you. So episode 8, we start off this episode, where am I here? Why are we doing this? Okay, thank you. So we start off with the little one. Mizu is a child, almost kind of doing like a Bruce Wayne moment. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Because I was thinking Bruce Wayne coming up with an honor bound vow to get revenge for the loss of his mother and her mother, and doing everything she can to get that revenge. I'm just curious what your thoughts were when you saw this with Copa. We were talking about that last night. Intros to an episode. I'm really curious of what your thoughts are.
Bruce Wayne is correct. What's interesting about the show in general is that with Mizu's backstory, you get trickles throughout, which is wonderful in the sense that it's not all flooded onto you at once, which is something like modern storytellers do these days, which is like, we're going to just flood you with their backstory so you can identify with him as quick as possible, and then we could get into like the stuff that we want to tell. And instead, obviously you guys talked about episode 5. Obviously, I'm guessing everybody on this panel, that's their favorite episode.
Yes.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with action. And usually when you have something like that, they call it a mid-season closer. Usually with something like that, with a mid-season closer, it's like all action, and you're like, oh yeah, it gets you so riled up for the rest of the show. But that one is just her backstory interwoven with these action sequences was just fantastic. So opening with episode 8, I'm trying to remember, is this where she she's not forming her sword yet in this episode, right? She wasn't doing that at the end.
No, she left. Like she dropped the sword,
Yeah.
and gave it to the sword master and said, "I'll come back for this."
Yeah.
Tigan doesn't have one either. So
Yeah,
Right. Which, by the way, I mean, we'll get to him later, but I think his character arc is the best in the entire series.
agreed.
To be
For
completely
sure.
honest with you. But yeah, I thought this, and that's the thing too with intros, like on a broader scale. What we were talking about last night, Jay, is the season has an intro, and then obviously each episode has an intro, and it's supposed to draw you in and suck you into the rest of the show, into the rest of the episode. And once again, this is just masterful storytelling, and it's just one of those things from 2023 that you really had to unearth, like something like The Bear or this show, to get some actually good storytelling going. And yeah, you follow the character Mizu throughout this journey, and even her backstory is really compelling. And that's pretty much what I thought about the opening to this.
Zax, he paid me nothing. He's sensei. He doesn't have to pay me. He pays. He trains me. That's all I need in my life. I do want to say
I trained him too.
Yeah,
But I mean, the
do wanna-
students surpassed the master, and
yeah.
I'm happy for all of you, and all of his shoulders too.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say hello to everyone quickly here. Up owners, Jenna, thanks for joining us. Asa Watomi, thanks for joining us, bro. You've been a regular and on the shows here, and I greatly appreciate it, man. Like it's nice to see you. Jamalama, another one that's been a regular. It's been awesome to see you coming on. Thank you so much. Of course, we've seen Zax on the channel. We were on his channel last night. We had a great time. Sassy, thanks for joining us as always. Mrs. Sassy Sasquatch, go check out her channel. Check out Zax's channel. Check out all these people in the chat's channels. They got great shows. And then Spike Sports, Swordfish. I think is this the first time we've seen him on here? Thanks for joining us. And of course, the man himself, Mr. Cannoli, Sasquatch, joins us tonight.
Yeah.
So the man, the big man, joining us. So yeah, let's continue with this. Like Enzo or Amateur, do you have any thoughts in the beginning of this episode with her?
It's a little depressing knowing the fate of her mother becoming a treacherous crack whore, but other than that, I mean, it's also really depressing because she's got a little, like, it looks like a cardboard tombstone.
Yeah.
And, I mean, assuming that was her actual demise, like that in itself is just like, she's not really buried there or whatever, I'll avenge you, Mom. Yeah, it's just sad. And, I think the thing is, yeah, like you said, Batman, the whole reason why you set out to do this,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just showing how
because-
futile it's become.
But because of episode 5, it's like I said previously on some of these other episodes, like the main crime is, for bringing her into existence. Like that's the thing that must be taking revenge on, like how dare you birth me into this world, I don't know. It's all pretty melodramatic, and a little sad, but yeah, it hits hard. Especially it's a great opener because this is a big season finale, so.
Well, it's such a different vibe compared to the way it ended in episode 7, right?
True.
Where Tigan's leaving, they kind of separate. They know they have to. There's a mission that has to be completed. Tigan is all about saving the Shogun, and Mizu's all about taking Abijah Fowler, and Ringo is just following along and doing following his master, like happy that his master's back. And after she's saying, "I need help." So it's a different you'd think that you would see something involving those two on their way to the Edo, and it starts off like this, which every episode is fantastic. Like the way they finish it, the way they start it, the flashbacks, they just really, really do it really well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about what Copa was saying about like trickling the backstory. That's much better than like the only time that's good to see the whole backstory at once is if the whole story is told chronologically. Yeah, sure, start with like the whole backstory at the beginning, but like even with the first superhero movies, traditionally it's like a whole lot of exposition, and then the final act is finally like your main character putting on the costume and fighting a random bad guy. That's why the second installment is always like better with these kind of heroic movies, because kind of got all the world building and the characters out of the way. So I mean, yeah, I'm excited about season 2.
They've set up quite a lot for season 2, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go for sure. But I always appreciate that, like, especially with this intro, like, they never just fire hose you or like dump a ton of information at once. They teach you a little thing about the character, and then they show you that being applied throughout like an episode, and then next episode they give you a little bit more, and then it gives it time to sink in. Things just have more weight that way.
It's one of the benefits of long form storytelling. You can take your time with stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like this, like with a lot of shows, you're like, man, this could have been just a short movie. But with this one, it's like, no, like, I don't think they could have made it any shorter and made it better. It would have been worse if you cut out basically anything.
And it's such a cheat code for writers too, because if you trickle out the backstory, you can you string it along instead of giving it all at once. So when you get to episode 6, 7, 8, and you don't have anything else to fall back on, you still have that backstory that you can always rely on. And like I said, it's such a wonderful cheat code to have. And so when you blow your backstory load like right off the bat, like you have nothing else to call back to. You either have to make more backstory that starts not making sense, or you start having to make up for what you're missing, those plot holes. These are very capable writers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm actually very surprised at how much, like, I've sort of been digging into this a little bit, but how much Amber, I'm just going to call her Amber. I'm not even going to try to say her last name.
Nozumi?
But how much of the insights have actually come from her, and like how it was all inspired by their daughter, which knowing that and then thinking about the show just makes it so much better. It makes a lot of the things that seem silly very forgivable, because it's like, oh, I see where this is coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows a lot of discipline though, like just not throwing everything they have at once and trying to show off how good they are. It's like there's a lot of discipline in that.
I have a feeling you're exactly right. Amateur analyst is that Amber Nozumi, I believe is her name. I think she's the one who's coming up with the ideas and kind of driving the story forward. And her husband, who's Michael Green, the other writer and showrunner, he's the one who's cleaning it up. And for those
he's the
who
one
don't,
packaging it professionally, because he's like, he's done Logan, he's done Blade Runner,
Blade Runner 2049. Yeah. He knows his way around. So
yeah, and she's got a story, man. Dream team, really.
What did you think of the animation in this one, or Copa?
I think the animation is fantastic. It's one of the better looking 3D animations that you've seen. It obviously there's a lot of anime influence in it, but it doesn't look anime. And yeah, I thought that the animation is fantastic. You're more the go-to person on that, but just from a filthy casual to animation, it didn't hurt my eyes. And it looks like it's 16 frames per second, maybe. I'm not too sure about that.
It's sort of like 14 point something.
Oh, is it?
So more or less 15.
But it still looks fluid. Especially the action sequences. Damn. And there was a couple times where I did have to pause and just appreciate the artwork that was going on in it. Especially when we get to the end of the episode here.
There's a few amazing ones. Yeah.
Oh, with Edo on fire, it was fantastically done.
Yeah, there was one I was actually contemplating making my background.
Well, even with like the Spider-Verse movies and stuff, there's this low frame rate animation looks cooler. Whereas like whenever I watch a crappy, straight to the internet movie that just sucks. One of the hugest write-off tip-offs that it's amateur is like it's shot in 60 frames per second for some reason, and it's like
there's nothing wrong.
They
with
think
24.
it looks better, and it's like it doesn't. It looks much worse.
for a video game, sure.
Oh, right.
Like animation, I think everyone should just stick to 24. There's a
I'm
reason
talking about
why
live
we use it.
action. I'm talking about
Oh, live action.
movies that are
Oh.
shot at 60 frames per second. You're like, this is going to be awful. I can't wait to watch this.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, just go 140 hertz. Like, make it so it's seamless. 60 just looks weird.
Yeah. And again, we get to the title screen, and the color is obviously indicative of the title of the show, The Great Fire of 1657, which is what you're seeing there: the yellow, oranges, reds, and then the little avatar in the bottom there. Each episode has just been amazing with the little hints and Easter eggs, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't catch the little icon in the bottom right corner was always changing per episode until maybe episode 7. I was like, has that icon been changing? And now I get it.
Yeah, each episode, if you watch, one was like, I think it was a red, and it was the one where I think it was episode 2. I think it was there was a lot of blood in that episode.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Akemi loses her virginity to Taigen, indicating there's blood there, because when
what?
Female. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
what
know
happens.
No.
Yeah.
Describe
Yeah,
it to me
three.
slowly.
It happened in
like
prison too, guys. It happens in prison.
You gotta work out that gooch, man.
Yeah.
That's why Jay,
there was a lot.
that's why Jay works out his gooch just in case he goes to prison.
Yeah, it's tattooed.
I'll
It's
break
like
your
it's
cock off,
it's
Wow, that didn't take
but
long.
episode 3 has like an ice kind of color scheme, and the little
Yeah.
arrow is the icon because of all the dodging arrows in the ice canyon, and it's like
Yeah.
it's like the little Ozark game where like
Yeah.
they give you a little puzzle to solve before each episode. Like, ooh, what's the little picture mean? It's fun. Except the one in Ozark was hard, and I stopped caring after a while. I was like, you know what? I don't care. Like,
I still haven't watched that show.
not bad. Not bad.
Dude.
I give a
I
recommend.
have it. I just haven't got to it.
Solid show.
So now we see like the intro was Mizu with Ringo, and they're going over the plan, what they're going to do when they reach to the temple. And then we get to the two sons of the shogun, and they're sitting there waiting. And then we see the man himself. Well, the one brother's kind of just, being condescending to his younger brother and kind of being a little impatient with him, kind of looking down on him because he does have a stutter. And then, he makes a comment about Abijah Fowler coming up, calling him a dumpling. And Abijah empties all the gold. Abijah, I think, is one of the best characters. I think I really, really like Abijah.
Yep.
I know when we discussed it when he was in the bottom floor and he's passing through the I don't know what you call it, that little, I don't want to call it temple, but a little church,
Like a chapel.
It's a little chapel, yeah.
That scene is like one of the most iconic scenes I think I've seen in a long while.
Yeah. I have to agree with you. The dichotomy going on, the difference going on. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to use big words tonight.
I know you can.
but the dichotomy going on in that scene alone with Jesus Christ nailed to the cross as he's talking to him saying, "I'll give you fresh souls." Fantastic dialogue. Juxtaposed with what's going on in the other room, which is Taigen pretty much crucified as well and being tortured to death. And just those two like scenes and those visuals happening at the same time pretty much, it was a fantastic sequence of events that was taking place. Because he just walks by it, doesn't think twice, or he thinks twice about going in. And then when he goes in, I mean, he's like the devil trying to tempt Christ again. Like, hey, I'll give you fresh souls. If you just give me Japan, I'll give you all the souls that you want. Because they're not useful to me. Woo, that gave me chills down my spine when he said that.
That bargaining
Amateur
with God
loves that,
thing is
yeah.
very old. That's a very old trope in storytelling, and it's very biblical too, because a lot of Old Testament stories are done that way, where you just take this absolute piece of shit human being, and he's like bargaining with God, and it's like, Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even connect that with like the crucifixion at all. But like, yeah, that's definitely there. It just
Yeah.
shows how many layers there are, and like the whole
Mhm.
thing where he gets met with a spider, and it's like the one thing he doesn't crush, the one thing he's not like malevolent towards is like nature's ultimate killing machine. It's-
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bite him either. He's very gentle with it.
Spiders are typically pretty timid, but yes, you usually have to be, pissing it off for it to try to bite you.
You're flicking it on
Um,
its nose.
Yeah, usually they're like in your shoe, right? And you put your foot in the shoe and like you're like crushing it, so they just bite you. That's
why I don't
9
wear
times out of
shoes.
10. Right, barefoot, open toe sandals all the time.
That's why I live
Just
in
like
Canada.
Jesus.
They're all dead.
Chanclas. I wear rubber chanclas from Walmart. My girlfriend begs me to stop.
It's Birkenstocks with socks or nothing.
I want to get another pair of Birkenstocks. My last pair lasted me like 15 years, man. Those are
Oh, come on, man.
they're
You don't
worth it.
own Birkenstocks for real, right?
I did own some in high school.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't wear socks with them though.
Ah, see?
I'm a hippie,
This,
man.
the vote here is 10-5. I do have a poll up if anyone is interested.
10 to 5?
Did you enjoy Blue Eye Samurai? And the so far it's 10-5, 67% yes and 33% no. So
Who are you? 5 people.
yeah,
Show
exactly.
yourselves.
yes.
Damn.
Well, let's get through this because we'll be here forever if we at this pace. So Abijah Fowler is, speaking to the two sons, and he mimics the one son here, the second son, as he's stammering, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is the most evil son of a bitch. Like he's excellent character. And I don't know what your thoughts on this, but I really enjoy listening to it's Kenneth Branagh. Like he's just
Yeah, I wonder
does
how
such
much he like influenced his own dialogue because some of his lines are typically the best. But yeah, all that stuff about like what to give a man who has everything, just get you money, and it's like, yeah, please. I would, as much as I love a thoughtful gift, $100 cash, thanks, man, hell yeah. Drinks on, I'll get you a beer, like I mean,
yeah.
seems like a pretty cut and dry gift.
Mm.
But he's pretty
And
upset,
then-
about not being able to meet the guy yet. And he's kind of passive aggressively like, I guess I'll meet him next year, even though he knows that he's going to see him later today.
Yeah, and then then it goes to the Shogun himself, and we see him and as he's receiving gifts, and then we see Haishi Shindu arrive with a cup carved of rhino tusks. I believe he said it was.
Yeah.
And it's mentioning something about some like that gives you some kind of virtuous vitality and all this other stuff, and he just gives him and then he gets the signal of these butterflies that things are happening, and obviously we'll see what's happening, but Haishi's just like, oh, that's the signal. Then we go to lady Madame Kaiji, and she's sitting there and she's in good spirits because now she's working for Kemi, being one of her assistants. And then we get Mizu popping in, and she's kind of like, oh, you made it out of the castle alive, and just starts talking about how things are, just mentioning that she's working with a Kemi. She is married to Shogun's son, and then Mizu's like, Abijah's on his way with his army, and then she starts to panic. Any thoughts? As you guys chime in whenever you want to say something, because I'm just kind of just.
Can we talk about the rhinoceros horn cup?
Sure.
I mean, would you accept a gift as extravagant as that? I mean, I thought it was pretty baller, honestly.
Oh yeah.
One of the cooler, vulgar displays of wealth I'd seen in this show. But obviously a critique on some of these Asian and Midwest, Eastern cultures of, killing rhinoceros horns for it's always for your genitals. It's always to be like virile, and it's always for your like reproductive organs.
Yeah.
Eating
Shark fin
rhinoceros, shark fin soup.
Or
Uh,
eating
wha-
sushi with elephant semen on it. What was the meal that they're
Yeah,
trying to
or
give her?
horse semen.
Horse semen.
yeah.
That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, on like chicken livers or chicken hearts or whatever.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Mango Cassidy, thanks for joining us. I think this is the first time I've seen you too. So thank you for joining us.
But seriously though, the gift is like a good example of like foreshadow. More, the guy's not a cool guy. He's not a good guy. He's giving gifts like that. I mean, I don't know.
CLS, I don't think I'm going to do Echo. I don't know if I can live to do that one.
Dude, no joke. I watched the prologue in the first scene. I know exactly where it is a mess. Guarantee it. That show is a mess. Almost, It might almost be like watching those first two scenes. Sorry to go on a little tangent here, but
no, go ahead.
It might be full circle funny. That's how hilarious it might be.
Oh my god,
it might be.
It's that bad. It's hilarious.
I think so.
I want to watch it. I mean, if it's so bad it's good, I'll check it out because most of the stuff's just bad and it's depressing.
I might watch it just to see if it gets funny.
I doubt it, man. That's the thing. These people who make it intentionally, as long as nobody can laugh at it, as long as if it's boring and mundane and just kind of badly done, that's one thing. But if it's like over the top, that hurts them. So they try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like Marvel's, I watched that, and I mean, I didn't find it funny. You know what I mean? I didn't find it ironically funny.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring myself to watch that one.
I'm not getting burned too much on these current releases.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch the remake of Most Dangerous Game with Casper Van Dien. We need to watch that, Jay. Joe Nelson, straight to video, 60 frames per second.
I'm too busy rewatching Coyote Ugly. So that's a great movie.
The third time this week.
Yes. So we come to Akemi's father as he's talking about the
monologuing.
Yeah, exactly, monologuing, and just whipping it out pretty much. Saying how much power he's going to have, and all excited about everything that's happening. You're taking over the Shogun. And then telling her she's going to have her freedom like she wanted. And now she realizes that he was doing a lot of vicious things behind her back. So,
yeah. And I also appreciate here too, how he's almost manipulated things so that she's always in the wrong, no matter what she's doing. She's always she's like contesting what he's doing, because like now she's warming up to her new husband, and it's like, well, part of my plan is to have all of them killed. It's like right when she gets used to a new setting or changes her mind, or something changes, she's like her father's already has some ulterior motive where she's undermining that. Like she's done it like twice now. But it's just amazing how this character, just his manipulations, always puts her in the wrong.
Gaslighting,
from his perspective. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah. And then her guess who comes to the rescue is Sakai, and he takes out the guards, puts the sword to the Lord's throat, and then we see Akemi grab a knife and Sakai is like talking about he's obviously admitting that he made mistakes and he just wants the best for Akemi, and then the Lord's just like talking away, saying like, you're throwing your life away and all this, and then Akemi
for a daughter. I can't believe you're gonna throw your life away for a daughter. Like, instead of a son, obviously. That's what a jerk.
And then she just grabs the I forget the name of this smaller knife. Like it's like not a knife, but it's like a smaller,
right?
Like a smaller sword. I always forget the name of it.
Wakizashi.
Yes. There you go. Sounds good. I'll go with
having such crazy deja vu of like not remembering what a wakizashi is called.
Well, what's the one on the pole now that we're on
hello, Racerhead. Thanks for joining us, bro. Well, the poll is at 71%. There you go. So she's like now making threats to her father. I'm letting you breathe now. And then she leaves, and then they get around the corner, and next thing you know, they're surrounded by guards again, and we see Mizu, Mizu, pop
Mizu.
in, take out the guards, and just says to Akemi, like it says right there, "Do you still want your freedom?" And Akemi's like pissed off at Mizu because she gave her up to the guards when she had her freedom and was looking for Taigen, and then she was put in this position. So she's got a lot of hatred towards Mizu and doesn't trust her fully. So she's just like kind of stunned that Mizu's there, and then offering her freedom back. So it's quite the full circle here within the first 20 minutes of or 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
And then and then it's off to the races. So we're seeing Ringo here. Ringo's popping up. He takes out the one guard. Then he meets Taigen, and
Falcon
Taigen
dive.
says, "Oh, the Falcons dive." Is that that's what he says?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
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 They set that up earlier. What do you do if you see a guy with a sword, Falcon punch or whatever, Falcons dive? What if you see a spear, run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer.
Well, this is your favorite character there, Copa. So go ahead, tackle all this guy. Why is he your favorite character?
Well, his character arc is wonderful because he's the big bad bully in the beginning to Mizu, and usually when that happens, they just get worse and worse and worse over time, and that's how they're usually fleshed out. He would be like the Fowler character usually, but in this show, he has a very large redemptive arc. Like, he starts going from being the bully to being bullied by her within the first episode, to wanting his revenge against her, to becoming an ally of hers, and then ultimately things fall apart from there. But his reason for doing things is ever so evolving. And then by the end of this episode, he doesn't even want to be a samurai anymore. Spoiler alert. But he doesn't even want to be a samurai anymore. He just wants to achieve like happiness with Akemi, which like, to your point, Amateur, like that scene with her dad, I also feel like he's starting to imprint on her too, because by the end of this episode, she's all gung-ho about playing this Game of Thrones type of situation and getting into the politics of it all. And
Yes.
she throws it away, her life with why is his name slipping me at the moment?
Taigen.
She throws her life with Taigen away when they could easily just walked away with the gold and had a life of happiness, free from all this crap. So you're promised Italian. You got 3 Italians. I'm guessing Amateur Analyst is at least like some kind of Italian somewhere.
He makes
I make pasta from scratch.
Yeah, see, he made pasta from
mia.
scratch. He's good enough.
And Dempsey, thanks for joining us, Dempsey. Dempsey's in the house. Yeah, the arcs for each character, and I like the first episode when we were going through this, it was just me and Amateur, and I really liked his take on. Let me go back here for one. I think it's 1 or 2 on Ringo here. He says it's the Shrek and Donkey relationship with Mizu and Ringo. I really like that comparison because it's true. Ringo's such a lovable character. He's such a simpleton. He's like a simple Jack kind of character, and you just want to.
He's almost
Go ahead.
annoyingly positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love this little scene here where they're talking on the top of the rooftop, and they're like trying to figure out how to attack the entrance to the garden, and then Ringo saying, "Well, Mizu would just take him full on," and Taigen's like, "Well, that's such a stupid move." She's like, "Why would he do that? It's the dumbest thing you do." And then they go ahead and do it. And there's like the way they slide in the humor in these episodes too, when like it's so intense, and there's a lot of action, and they slide in these little humorous bits, and it's just really well done. I enjoy it so much.
It never shatters the seriousness either.
No,
which is great.
No.
Yeah, and the humor comes from the fact that we've built up to these moments as well, because this could have just been a random moment, and then we would have just been like, oh, okay, like that was supposed to be funny, but this is actually funny because we watched Mizu charge head on at least 3 or 4 times throughout this series now. And you're like, yeah, that's totally what she would do. And so when they cut to them actually charging head on, it's pretty funny because especially with Taigen, he's just like the anti Mizu in what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're getting to the Shogun, and the arrow goes through, and Taigen yells out, kill me if you want, but let me warn the Shogun first. The Shogun hears him, and Taigen tells him that he's in danger and warns the Shogun that the army's coming. Abijah Fowler. This character, like, I swear if they would have done like the Superman hair on him, he would look like the old school Superman. Like that's what I think of when I see this the second son there.
Yeah, Superman's got to have this like Clint Eastwood kind of like man, face, the eyes, the squinty eyes. It's kind of important. But I know what you're saying. It does. That is the same face.
Well, thanks for joining us, Nadia. Thank you.
Hey,
it's nice of you to join us. We're getting quite the crowd tonight.
But yeah, I mean, Taigen said that he tried to warn him earlier, and they were like, "There are no white men in Japan, silly one." And it's just like, yes, there are. I'm trying to tell you. He's somehow gone covert, as a guard, and he's still like having trouble alerting these people. They're so stubborn.
Yeah.
And Abijah manages to sneak in an entire army, which is like, how?
Yeah. Well,
holding
I mean,
red flags.
Yeah. And you see that the guns here, and like they look larger than what they were before. They're like really, really long and big, and then later on they're not as big as they are. Like the exaggerations throughout the last 3 episodes are it's fun. It's we can sit there and pick that apart, but you're just you're kind of certain points you're just enjoying the moment.
That is a very like Eastern way of storytelling too, just like dramatizing things and just stretching reality to make a point. Anime does that all the time.
Yeah, this is the focal point. That's what you should be looking at. This is what everyone's out the doors looking at. This is what they're afraid of. What are those weapons that they're carrying? And then we're back to Sakai and Kemi. Go ahead there, Amateur. You were saying something.
Oh, just adding to the point. Like we want the katana to look big now because swords are cool. Oh, but now guns are dangerous, so now the gun's bigger. Yeah, they do that a few times in this episode, but
yeah. And then we're back to Akemi and Sakai, and they're wanting to get out, and she's talking about the farm that he had when I think it was with his. Did he say his grandmother, or I can't remember? I mentioned that there was a farm that she could go to, and he's going to give her all this bullion, and she's like considering it, and then we see Abijah like just proud peacock, just storming to the gate, no intimidation, not intimidated at all by anything, just ready to take on what's coming at him, and he's got such a plan. Like you could see it, like he's just ready for anything.
He's so chill about it. He's just like, it's like almost like another day for him.
It's also because it's going to be easy. There's no stress. Like he's just going to do the same thing they did last time, which is just like stay out of the range of the arrows and shoot them. It's just like it's pretty it's pretty fail-safe.
Like a normal person that isn't like a megalomaniac would still be nervous because it's like, man, what if this is too easy? You'd still be kind of sketched out, and you take it carefully. He's like, no, I'm in control. Nothing
Shock
can
and
stop
awe,
me
baby.
Now.
Shock and awe.
Nadia gave it a 10 out of 10, which that's awesome that you really enjoyed that. Yeah. It's a really, really well written series. Like each line has weight to it. Like we've said all throughout the series. There's no wasted scenes. There's no fillers. It's like everything is so well done. And like we've mentioned throughout all the previous episodes, like the art, everything is just beautifully done. You guys can speak on this too if you want, but I really like the show as well. But I'm glad you enjoyed it there, Nadia.
It's definitely something that was planned.
Yeah,
from the offset, every little thing was planned because like just the amount of setup and payoff. Like basically every episode, just off the top of my head, there's like 3 or 4 things that are set up before they're paid off later, like in that episode. And then some of them are paid off again, like 2-3 episodes later, which is great.
I'm not gonna lie. My favorite moment throughout this series was when I was telling Enzo about it, and he was just like, "Dude, this seems woke to me." And I was just like,
"This is the best woke show I've ever seen."
Yeah,
after
kind of
episode
like,
4.
dude, you need to watch.
And
Keep
then
watching.
Episode 5 turned it all around.
Yeah.
When Jay suggested this show to me, I watched the first episode, and I'm watching this character, and I'm like, dude, this guy is such a twink. Like, why am I watching this guy? Like, what the hell is going on? And then it turns out it's a female, and I'm like, oh my god, like, what is Jay doing to me?
Yeah, we've joked many times
But it's not-
throughout the
it's-
previous
not
episodes
what-
about how, like, how doesn't anyone notice that she's not a chick? Or the
Right,
How long did you go? How long did you watch before you realized it was a chick?
I was like, this is either a female in disguised as a male, or this is like the twinkiest lead character I've ever witnessed that I'm supposed to believe is going to just kick the shit out of everybody.
Well,
Glad they
that's
didn't do
easy
that.
prey in prison there, Copa. That's easy prey in prison.
It really is.
Yeah, like when you guys were saying that, and then after you guys watch episode 5, it's just like it's like everything changes. Like it's just like, oh shit, like you get to see the writing really come out. You see the dialogue, you see the character dynamics. Everything's just really, really, really well done. And I keep saying that, but like a freaking parrot. But
Well, for instance, like in episode 4, they're trying to make it seem like everyone. It's ever since episode the prequel started coming out, Star Wars. It's like there's like a trend to make everyone like sexist weirdos, and like when this movie, this show is like on episode 4, and you see how she's so timid about like sexual stuff. And they're trying to kind of corrupt her almost. But then you find out in the past, like, no, she used to get laid by a man. And you're like, oh, that's cool. All right. Because it's like, she's either going to be gay or like a virgin, or if she's a dude, like definitely like, I'd never known the love of a woman. It's like, how about like Conan the Barbarian, where you just like slay bad guys and slay, vag like all the time. Like you're a barbarian.
Right. And that's the thing with Mizu is like she isn't a mannish woman who's into other women. She's feminine disguised as a man.
And like a man on the road doing adventures, like he gets horny. I don't think. I mean, she seems to be like a woman. She'd be like, no, not interested right now. I'm busy. I have stuff to do. A man would be like, and that's the funny stuff is all these brothel owners are like, are you really a dude? Like, how do they not, I mean, we have naked women all over the place. You're not seeming to look at any of them. What's happening here?
Yeah.
Well, AJ, thanks for joining us, bro. Get me some fried chicken.
I love fried chicken.
He's always playing up that stereotype.
Chicken fried bacon. That's some carnival food right there.
Well, the thing that I always mention is like the history, like, and we've talked about this also in the previous episodes, is like the average size for the Japanese back then was 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah.
So, or maybe even 5'1". So like, and you have the English and the Irish coming over, like Abijah Fowler, because I think he's Irish, to be honest, and he's got to be probably 6 foot, and well, probably a little under 6 foot, probably like 5'10", and but he looks 6 foot. And he's a big, solid man, and we don't know who the other 3 are. And Mizu's a half-breed, so she is, half European and half Japanese. So she could be potentially a 5'5", 5'4", 5'5" woman. That's average nowadays, but that would probably trick some of the. That would throw off some of these Japanese men, and definitely throw off the women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. Just based on history, but
yeah, and like we've said before, just the culture of the time too. They were so set in their ways. Like men did this, women did this. There's basically 4 career paths you can pick.
Yeah.
Whether you can even pick them. So like the idea that a woman would go masquerading around as a man was just so ridiculous that no one would ever consider it, right? So that probably explains, at least for like to a large extent, why everyone just assumes she's a guy, even though they're very twinky.
Right,
Like-
and even Taigen gets face to face with her up close and personal multiple times, and he still thinks that she's a man.
Well, he does get a little.
he gets a little close.
He gets a little happy
he
there.
starts getting sexually confused. Like,
Yeah,
Little Taigen
Bumping
knows.
uglies for a little bit.
this goes back to my prison days. I'm into twins again.
no.
Smashing.
That's why
pacers.
That's why he's out for revenge. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I can't be this confused.
So
this is a good
I don't
scene.
want to be a samurai anymore.
yeah. I
My
quit.
oh no, my sword is hard.
Yeah. This is a great scene here too, where Taigen's beside the Shogun's second son. Here. You recently married, and then he just says like, "Where's your wife?" And he's just like, "I don't know." And I was just like, "Great scene!" Like everything's starting to get chaotic, and Taigen's just like, scowling and judging the son here and seeing if he's a real man. If
I was waiting for Taigen to take his head off on
the. What? Okay, go ahead, Copa. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I was waiting for Taigen to take his head off at this moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of the main reason why he kind of was going there. Kind of one of the big reasons to save her, and you get the big finale hold up, and she's not there, and you're like, dude, WTF? Where is she? And you got to say it in like a passive aggressive way, like, hey, didn't you just get married? Where's she at? Who are you? And why is that any of your business? I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
Speaks to how far he's come too, where like, episode 1 Taigen would have absolutely beat the shit out of him and like called him out, made a whole scene out of it. But episode 8 Taigen, he's like post torture, post all the crap he's gone through. He's not so irrational anymore. He's there's a plan. We can't screw it up now for the sake of a relationship that might not even be possible anymore.
This is a great scene too with Mizu and Akemi. Talking about, she's letting her know that Taigen's been looking for her. He's alive. You can have that moment with him. Just go hide and escape and reach Ringo, and you'll find your way out. Which she's kind of pondering right there. You're kind of looking at her like, the first time watching, you're like, what is she pondering? Like, she should be excited that Taigen's alive, but she's actually, thinking over what she wants to do.
Yeah.
And then we get to Abijah, at the first gate. They got the arrows. They land short. They're, standing their ground. And then Abijah just says, okay, I'm done with this. Let's get ready and fire. And then
Fire. Fire, please.
This Copa, this is such a Mussolini moment right there. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
Too much hair though.
Yeah.
All the great tyrants have no hair.
Yeah.
And a mustache.
Oh.
And a mustachio.
They fire their guns. People are hearing the guns go off. Everyone's in shock. You're seeing everyone get shot, which, like, every scene, like, look at that animation there. Like, it's like Arcane. Every pausing, you get a perfect frame.
Oh, if it was Arcane, it would have went slow-mo and there would have been spit.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so I'll continue here.
Yeah.
And then you get the smoke clearing, and then Abijah just keeps marching forward. Like,
They were just out of range of those arrows, Just
No need to reload. Just keep going.
Yeah.
and there's the Lord, Akemi's father, just getting ready to Abijah to break through all the gates and take over. Like the plan was, made earlier. This is the second gate. They come to second gate. Same thing, pretty much. They're out of range of the arrows.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is I don't think they made that terribly clear about being out of range of the arrows. Because I was like, dude, I think Fowler's clan should be dropping more with these arrows. But then I
Well,
realized, like with this scene,
Yeah, they did
they're
set
pretty
it up.
damn far away.
Yeah,
And
they
they show
did
it-
set it
they-
up with the last episode. Like they made it pretty clear
Right.
that that was part of his plan, or at least that
Yeah.
it was like a dynamic because they had like a bunch of prisoners try to shoot him, and then he shot them with the rifle.
Huge,
Just-
huge
No,
advantage.
that's right. That's right. Good call.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
they're at the tent
Yeah.
and he's like showing Haishi Shindu like this is how I brought in the weapons, like the pianos, the candles, and all that kind of stuff.
And he was testing. He was testing to see how far the bows go. Okay,
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
And then obviously they get through the second gate with ease, and they're just kind of moving along because you're seeing all you're going to see through this is just them going through the gates and every guard getting shot. And then we get Akemi and Sakai. They're hearing the guns and they're trying to escape and meet Ringo. And then this part right here, the traitor part, right, with Haishi Shindu, just like good. And then he starts shooting all the guards, pulling out pistols and shooting the guards, and then opening up the gate. And you see Abijah just sitting there waiting, just like so cocky, but yet like trying to be majestic and like a proud peacock. Like just like I just think Mussolini when I see him. I just like he just looks like like a
Yeah, but
a cocky
Abijah
leader.
Fowler's army actually did something.
Yeah,
Like Mussolini.
yeah, ran
Yeah.
away.
Burned.
Well, they did
Take
walk
that,
across
Italians.
Ethiopia, but
Yeah. That's how the reverse was created for vehicles, the Italians.
God,
Yeah. So then Haishi opens up the gate. They walk in. At this moment right here, this looked like a Spider-Man moment right here when
Very.
we're seeing, Mizu on top of the temple watching, and the great lighting too, like great lighting.
oh yeah, really good highlights in that shot.
Yeah.
There's no
Incredible.
way they didn't use real reference for some of these because it's like
Yeah.
there's no lighting engine. All of this is drawn. So yeah,
Mhm.
really talented artists, especially background artists. They just absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that this Blue Spirit studio created this all in 1 year. Like that blows my mind.
Yeah,
But
not
they
a
did
big
that.
studio either.
No.
Computers, bro.
But that's the story of 2023 is where you have these like small time studios and things of that nature and little budgets making these almost fascinatingly brilliant productions that look like they cost millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they just don't. Like Godzilla -1, it is one that comes out. The Creator, shit film, but man, you can't tell me that movie didn't look like it was $150 million dollars.
Visually stunning. It's just
Yeah.
too
Oh,
bad the
it was
story and
fantastic.
the acting was horrible.
Well, that's what happens
Right.
when the director is known for being a visual effects director. So he basically shot the movie with all the visual effects in mind, which
Mhm.
Yeah, but
makes
there's a problem with, like-
huge difference.
It's a problem with like a lot of good, special effects studios. They show up, they make a small movie with really great effects, and then bigger, productions start hiring them, and then the price goes up. They start getting spread out, and then eventually they just go bankrupt. And then Hollywood like moves to the next production company. It's like they're
Yeah.
like carnivorous, Ugh.
And then there's a movie like The Holdovers, which is better than all of them, and you probably could have made that for the price of the camera.
How did they
know.
do Paul Giamatti's eye? Was that computer or a really
I
impressive?
think that's
contact
just
lens?
his eye, man. Doesn't he have
No.
an eye like that?
No, it was unless that's recent.
I thought he had an eye like that.
It's gotten
Anyway.
worse over the years. My God.
Hmm.
Or maybe all of his other movies have a special effect that straighten his eye.
Yeah. Late Bloomington, thanks for joining. Nice of you to join us. And Thomas Forster, thanks. Copa, tell us more about myths.
Oh, no.
You know him.
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, get out of here, Tommy.
Forrest Whitaker suffered from a stroke,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
How old was he when he suffered from a stroke? Because he's always had that eye.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker is my second favorite large black dude with a lazy eye. My first favorite one would be Tiny Lister from Friday. He's awesome. No holds barred.
I love how that's a category now.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's only two.
It's just empty. Yeah.
There's only two, and he's got both of them as his favorite.
I love him.
Still a natural occurrence. So yeah, now we're getting into like the fast-paced part of the show, where you see Haishi Shindu waiting Abijah. They come to the last gate, the entrance to the temple. These guys are just standing on the ground like. I would just drop my weapon and just like, all right, yeah, go in, guys. Like, I wouldn't even bother, like, because you're seeing if they're getting through all those gates that are like supposed to be like invincible, and they're marching through, like they said, like all under an hour. Like,
I mean, you got to admire their loyalty a little bit, but at the same time, it's like it's pretty pathetic.
Well, that's what he says. He says we invented the worst first, and it's not fair, but here we are. I mean,
Yeah, great lines.
Cannoli got a question. How's the world building in the show? Asking for a friend.
It exists. It's awful.
yeah. Japan.
Hate world building. Get out of here.
Yes.
Take your world building and get out of here. We have a story to tell. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. But I guess it's like the Bushido code is making them stay, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to get Brian Kissinger on here because he did all the character designs and the animation with Toby Wilson here. So I would love to get them on here to discuss this because it's. I know we've discussed this in the past episodes, but it's so simple. The artwork for each character, just with a few lines like to give the aging on Abijah. You look at Mizu, like you. It's just a simple face, very little line work, rendering.
Yeah.
It's really, really well done. Bravo. Then we see Abijah enter, and then they enter the room where the Shogun is. This is a great
fantastic
scene.
Scene.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so unceremonious.
Yes.
That it's actually really shocking on how unceremonious this whole scene is.
Just so often, like a lot of the way a lot of shows would handle this, they would slow it all down. Every person who dies would be like some opera singer hitting some high note, and it'd be all sad.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's just like, nope, bang, okay. So you guys still haven't figured it out yet? Okay, bang, just right in the dome.
That's how a villain should be. It should just
like
be
Casino, man.
For
Yeah.
me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. It reminded me of the bits inside of Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just line up against the wall.
Shoot all those dummy people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chicken
Wow.
scene. Did you guys hear about it? Like they were putting like trigger warnings on movies, and they were looking at the trigger warnings for Schindler's List, and they're like, "Are there any animals that get hurt?" And they're like, "No, a chicken does get kind of hurt."
Yeah, I've
And
seen
it's
that.
like,
That's
thank
so
God.
and it's
fucked up.
like, dude, there's way. Is
Thank
there
God.
any anti-Semitism in the movie? And they were like, a little bit. A little bit.
Tiny, mild anti-Semitism throughout. Yeah.
This is kind of anti-Semitism, the movie, if you want to get my honest opinion.
Are we going to
Yeah.
talk about kosher tunnels tonight, or are we saving that for
Oh,
another?
God, I would love to, but probably not.
But this is the perfect way to portray a villain. Like we're seeing a lot of the villains, especially in comics. I can speak on that, but we're supposed to sympathize with the villain now. They're like they're victims, and it's like that's not how we should be having our villains. Our villains should be they're just pure evil. And
He has one sympathetic moment, and it's when he's building that rifle, and he talks about his backstory with his sister, and you go, "Holy shit, dude!" Like
Monsters are made, not born.
yeah, and you kind of sympathize with him at that moment. But then he goes back to being the piece of shit that you know.
It makes me think of like Norm Macdonald's joke where he like lists off like Hitler's biography, and he's like, "This guy was a real jerk."
I don't know if you guys are history buffs, but but there should always be. Well, I don't think there should always be, but like, it's always a mark of an interesting villain when there's that moment where it's like, I don't condone it, but I get it. There's always that. And especially with something like this, where we're going to pass it off to presumably another villain, a worse villain in the next one, it'd probably be pretty important to do the groundwork for like, okay, let's strip this guy of like being essentially Satan, so there's room for the next villain to sort of fill that role. But like,
Yeah, I
nearing
still
the
think
end of this
Fowler's going to
episode,
be the big bad throughout. I think he's going to be. He has to be. Like, I don't think they're going to be.
yeah,
I think there's going to be. I think you have that he said, because he says the other three a couple times throughout this. But I actually want to touch on what Copa said. Like the moment when he talks about him starving and eating and all that stuff, the way he said it though, you couldn't really sympathize with him because he was just kind of smiling about it and just kind of shrugging it off. Like, yeah, it was a moment. And I had to survive. Like,
yeah, there was a part where I had to eat my sister, when I was growing up.
Yeah.
he's kind of using it as justification for what he's doing now. Yeah,
exactly.
And it's oh god.
He's not confiding into some, lover of his, like with tears in his eyes. He's kind of bragging to this guy about why he's so badass.
Yeah.
He's like, because I had to eat my sister's kidneys and bury her. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
And it is kind of
I'm more
refreshing to
hardcore
have.
than you.
It is kind of refreshing to have a villain that is a villain.
Right.
We don't have to have like some gray area where
He
we
should
need
be
to sympathize with him. Otherwise, we're a piece of shit.
Yeah, he should be intimidating and impressive, and like, inspirational almost. It's like, damn, dude, this guy's got his shit together. He's like, he's evil. Evil with intent.
There's so many good moments in this, and he says like, "Didn't I kill you?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, but that's that humor though, right? Like an intense moment where he's like,
There's a lot of
killing
great
people
jokes
off.
in this scene.
It's almost like Reservoir Dogs with Mr. Blonde, where he's just like dancing, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to kill you, but like, tell me what you know. Who ratted us out? And he's just dancing away, and he's just like, I'm like, oh my god, this is great. Abijah is just like walking along, grabs the rifle, and boom, shoots a guy in the head. One guy decides to take his life, and he just kind of looks on. Well, that was unexpected.
I didn't. Yeah.
Well, he shoots
didn't
It's like anybody else.
Yeah.
He says, anybody else want to stab themselves in the stomach? Go ahead.
The first one he shoots is the Shogunate.
But even his speech about like, you let a little crack in the dam come, and it's like a bullet doesn't need a whole lot of space, and he shoots that one guy in the face. And then just like a lot of jokes. What else does he say? There's something else he says that's funny. Where I don't even remember. There's a few jokes here and there where he's talks about our milk. Oh yeah, he says and this is kind of like weird foreshadowing where he's talking about like he's gonna open Japan wide open and flood it with our people, our music, our shame, our bread, our milk, and you'll think it'll be to a point where eventually you'll think an ugly face like mine is more beautiful than your own. And it's like, isn't Japan kind of like that right now?
Yeah.
This is an interesting take by Gemma Lama. I feel like in season 2, with Abijah and Mizu almost kind of teaming up, he's going to get a lot more flushed out. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but then he has to return back to Big Bad at season 3 or something.
I see him more as like a Darth Vader type. He lives to fight another day type of deal at the end of A New Hope.
But you think there's like some kind of emperor type character who's a bigger batterer?
Well, I think he named off the worst of the worst. I don't think he's the worst of the worst, or at least that's what they're implying for the next couple of seasons. I don't know. See, that was the one thing I was worried about at the end of the episode was like, please don't tell me they fucking team up in season 2. Like, we don't need the bad teaming up with the good. We've seen that before. But then again, these people are capable writers, so I would like to see if they even go that route. Where they would come up with.
Mr. Pink is my spirit human.
No tipping.
Nice. No tipping.
Why do I got to be Mr. Pink?
Yeah, because all you want to be Mr. Black, and I'm not going through that.
How about I be Mr. Purple? There's already a Mr. Purple.
You're just gonna take it. Shut the fuck up. I have a feeling that Abijah is the most calm when it comes to this, and that's why he stayed behind. I think he's more what's the word I'm looking for? Tactical.
Yeah, he's playing the long game.
Yeah, and I think there's one character that's going to be more of a politician that lurks in the shadows and knows how to play the politics in the British government. You know,
Who are you
I think
working
that
for?
yeah,
Isn't
and
this
then
like right in the height of like the company, or is this too early for that? Like the British East India Trading Company like has more wealth than the rest of the world combined.
Sweet.
no, that
It's a little
well,
bit later, I
maybe-
think.
yeah, I think that it'd be later.
What
And
was
then
this?
I think
1500s?
This is
16
16. We're going into 1660.
I think the East India Trading Company was around then. Yeah.
Yeah, because the
Was it?
1700s
Okay.
was like their
think
peak.
so.
All right.
I think I also think there's going to be one guy that's just a real loose cannon, and they had to take him with them because he would have like ruined the whole thing. I think they're going to have that trope of the four typical, you know, one guy does this, one guy's this, one guy's that. One like
Yeah,
that's how I would see it. But I'm interested to see what happens in season 2. I just hope it doesn't suck. I mean, if they did this in 1 year, I mean, I mean, who knows?
They
what
could do a bait and switch. Who knows? Get us
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
hooked
well,
and then fuck us over next year.
Oh yeah, the bait and switch. All of a sudden, Mizu's a jacked dude from Austria or something. Hell yeah! All right, that's the bait and
I'd
switch
actually
I've
love
always
it.
wanted.
You not the Shogun now. I am the Shogun here.
But this is the part that Andrew had some problems with her dodging bullets and
Yeah.
stuff. Apparently, he said that multiple times. Like,
But
but after
again-
rewatching it, it's not too bad.
Well, again, like she's experienced it once, right? So she knows, like, soon as she sees the rifle go off, like
Points at
there's
her.
yeah, points at
you. Just get out.
to move. I like you would think that you would learn from the first time, and she's very good at that, like learning from her mistakes, and we see that all throughout the series. Not like buddy pals, but she might come to understand him more, at least, even appreciate to a point. Pure speculation, but she laid some fertile ground. Interesting.
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to is if they play with the idea of like he shows her like the starting point to her journey to the other white guys in Japan or whatever, and then he like fucks off somewhere for a while, and we don't have to deal with Fowler. And he kind
Do
of
you
pops
think-
up here.
I think he's going to
think
try
it-
to use her to get his position back because right now
Right.
he's basically at ground zero again, and there's no way
Ah.
he's going to be happy about that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and maybe he's going to tempt her. That would be an interesting.
Yeah, join me and together we'll take the galaxy.
Exactly. Something like that. And maybe she's like, okay, like this, because if you remember the beginning of the show, she's all about the clear and quickest path to these guys to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't
yeah.
matter what that path may be. If she gets a whiff that this will lead her to them, she'll take it. So if he's like, hey, if you join me and do these certain things, I'll take you right to him. And she might actually take him up on that offer. That would be an interesting play too.
Yeah, because he basically means nothing to her now because
Right.
he's irrelevant to her revenge quest. So that might create enough of a blind spot for him to like sneak in there, take advantage of her skills a bit, get what he needs done in England, and then probably screw her over if I had to guess.
Here's my thought, and I'm just kind of putting it together. Actually, now I'm thinking of it. The beginning of this episode, we see kind of like a Bruce Wayne moment. At the end of this episode, and spoilers for anyone who's watched this, but we're reviewing it. So if you haven't watched that, what are you doing? But I mean,
Well, they like her
at the end of-
personalities.
It's also been 8 weeks.
yeah, you're here for the gooch. But at the end of the episode, she doesn't kill him, so it's again another kind of Batman moment. Like she does all this killing, but like the one person that you think she's gonna kill, she doesn't kill, and she's going to Europe. So I'm kind of wondering if this is like Batman Joker moment where she's, taking this character, this villain, and trying to get information about the big plan.
Yeah, but at least like chop his hands and legs off or something. Like,
Yeah.
like do something. Like just
Take
take
his
like-
thumbs.
yeah,
Typical colonist.
criminy.
Yeah, So obviously we've skimmed through this. Like Mizu jumps into the scene. There is that moment that actually Andrew hates, and I'm going to bring it up here. But I liked it. The right here.
Yeah, that shit's great.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's just like Game of Thrones,
You can
but
press
like
play.
not shit.
She's coming in. Oh, this is the moment where she breaks the gun, and she's looking up at him, and then everyone's kind of shocked that she made it through. Where is that moment?
Gun slicer.
Damn, that is bright. Hold on.
Where is it? Maybe it's later. Oh, can't
What
remember.
you looking for? Sorry.
The moment where Abijah takes a shot at her and the pellet is flying by, and she's kind of doing a Matrix moment.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
like right
Yeah.
after this.
It's right after.
Yeah, it's right after. Okay. So then she chases after Abijah. Taigen stays, and he is grabbing a sword, and he's looking at the sword, and he sees
Yeah.
how
This is one of
she
the
should
best
do. This is
executions ever.
yes, and this moment
Oh,
right
fuck
here
yeah.
when he says, and he
Where
kills.
she's like playing dead like a damn possum, which is so slimy.
Yeah, but it circles back to when Haishi Shindu was torturing him, and he says
Yeah.
the same thing to him. It's just a great moment here. I'm gonna actually see if I can play this moment too.
There it is.
Yeah.
Like 10 seconds before this.
Yeah,
Because him putting the sword into him was nice
He
and
stabbed
slow.
like vertically, like right
Yeah.
through the collarbone.
kills him
Like,
with a
Yep.
sword. He kills him with a sword, and you just hear it, and you're just like, oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like it's through
Takes
his
his
heart,
time.
kidneys, liver,
Throat.
everything Fowler
Yeah.
would have ate from his sister.
Yeah, and they show it. That's the one thing I loved about the series, the violence. They really show the violence in this series.
Oh yeah.
So,
Don't shy away from anything.
yeah.
It's either
This
all
was
or
a kind of
nothing,
a-
right?
This animation part right here was kind of cheesy. Her running, it just kind of looked off.
I have to agree with
Right.
Andrew. If he was like
running
that Matrix
downstairs?
moment. You didn't like that part?
It's because
No.
she's running downstairs or something. Is that why it looks
No,
weird?
she was running down a hallway, and it just looked a little off.
Oh, I think it's like it's a weird Dutch camera angle is what you're talking about. It looks
Yeah.
like the building is like on a slant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
And then Taigen comes to help her, and they're both facing off like you have in this kind of.
She's also like got just a rifle that she's using as a club. You know?
Yeah, I don't know why she doesn't take a sword for the attack Abijah. Like
She's
they
got
both had swords in their hands, and they kind of drop them,
Yeah.
and they.
So
She had her big spear thing that she loves to use.
And this is what I had. This is like one of the few very small problems I had, and it was this fight scene with Mizu and Fowler. He had
Yeah, they should have
like,
absolutely wrecked him.
yeah, and he had like 3 or 4 ample opportunities to kill her, and instead he just ran away. And I just didn't understand that call because she's on the floor defenseless, and he's standing over her, and then
Yeah.
his thought process was, well, I have a chance to run away now. Completely against his character. His character would have, as soon as he saw the moment to kill an enemy, he would have taken it. So yeah, so this fight scene, it was a little weak. It's probably the weakest out of the entire series because
I
Yeah.
like the
just-
shot though.
Yeah, the shots
it's
are
great.
fantastic. It's great framing too with the doors.
Excuse you. Someone farting?
No, that's that's a cork.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought
Um,
that was a wet, juicy barking spider.
Copa did bring up a point where we were talking earlier, and he said that she heals really quick, like a video
Dude,
game.
she heals like a fucking video game, man.
Yeah,
But I think we talked about this on one of the other episodes where like we don't really know for sure like how much time passes between episodes, and some of them it's obvious that it's right away, and then sometimes it's like it could have been months between like
Dude.
the episode where she gets rescued
Yeah.
from the lake.
Her foot should be fucked for like a year.
Dude,
Yeah.
bro.
episode
Yeah. Yeah.
episode 6, she gets her Achilles severed.
Yeah.
And
She
she's
gets
like,
shot in the last
rough.
episode.
she gets shot in the shoulder, stabbed, and her Achilles gets severed, and she's still walking around like, oh, and then she carries a 180-pound man on her back,
Right.
crawling up
Right.
the side of a building, a castle. She's just, man, like, it's like Halo. You take some cover, you'll heal right up.
Yeah.
She's got those magic fingers that can
Well, that's the exaggeration where she falls down the mountainside in episode, I think 3, with the four fangs, and she lands on one hand like she's like Karate Kid. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little much.
Yeah, that was a little much too. They should have established that right in the beginning, at the get go, when she goes to the tea house. Like that should have been established at the beginning. That she could get injured, but it's not too serious. By the time we get here, though, I'm just like, dude. I mean, I've watched her get stabbed at least 18 times and shot, and she's gonna be okay. Don't worry. I'm just
she'll get through it.
Yeah,
And then
dude.
there's me. I get like a small nail in my hand, and my hand's like useless for like 6 months.
Exactly.
I mean, like
And
this
on
fight
top of
scene
that,
didn't bug me that much.
Woman.
It's definitely a flaw, and I think it could have been done better. The part, and I didn't even notice it until I rewatched it today, but the part that really fucks me up is all of, I think it's Kyoto they're in. The whole city burns down because she throws a candle. And it's like, fucking what?
Yeah.
Dude,
happens
it's
when you
like,
make
is
those
this
buildings
whole
out of paper
place like
mache?
marinated in gasoline? Like,
Dude, you
Yeah.
have no idea. That was a Gwyneth Paltrow candle. So if that thing
Oh, yeah.
anything
Those vag candles are dangerous. Dude.
yeah, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous.
So the main city's burned down, but not only that, it
There.
smells like Gwyneth's crotch.
Yeah, right there. Right there.
Goop.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, just the way she just throws it and like immediately the shit's on fire, and it's like, man, I make a fire every day. I wish it was that easy.
It's like paper mache, the doors, isn't it?
Well,
Like,
not
they're
only were people more shorter back then, but also, things were more combustible, like in the atmosphere, naturally.
But not
Well,
that
I'm
combustible. Like,
joking. I'm kidding. I
They,
have no
they
idea.
should have made all their buildings out of starter logs.
Yeah.
like Japan is pretty flammable. Like the Americans burnt Tokyo.
Yeah, this is like a
and
grease
Osaka
fire. How
down.
fast it spreads. This is like
Yeah.
deep
Yeah.
frying a turkey. A frozen turkey. Like that's what this is like.
That's
I
what
don't
they use
even
for the
think
lacquer.
kerosene
They use
burns
that as
that
lacquers
fast.
to grease turkey.
Yeah,
And they had those two.
explodes.
And they had those 2 flash fires in Hiroshima and Nagasaki too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty fast.
It was
This is a great scene.
very fun.
From the
image.
trailer.
And this scene kind of threw me off too, because it looks like Abijah is kind of scared of the fire, and it's just like, okay,
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
Shere Khan.
And he
Yeah.
does say that line where he's like, "Dude, this bitch is crazy," or "This guy's crazy." That's the dude's deal.
Yeah, it just did. Yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. Like this fight scene is the weakest.
It's
I
like
don't
you're
know.
not crazy, Abijah.
Right.
Like, you're obviously a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
He should be like, "This person's crazy. I like that," and like walk away. Like that seems more
I-
like up his on his brand.
Yeah, I could team up with this person.
Ooh, I like crazy people, just like me. Because especially at the beginning of the episode, like there's such a juxtaposition just from like the beginning of the episode to now, like how, he seems so pretty ruthless. And
Yeah.
evil.
Now I will say this about the fight scene: when he gets a hold of her and starts breaking her bones, when
Yeah.
he says like "your bones break like a woman's," I was like,
And he just
"Shit,
starts
dude."
laughing.
Yeah, and then I'm like, that's how you could tell she's a woman, is by her bones breaking. That is some fucked up shit. I love it.
Yeah. Well, it's also like a
Speaks to his
throwback
character.
to. Well, yeah, it
Mhm.
throws back to when she was going through the tunnel underneath the castle to get the first time trying to get out of Baija with all those bodies underneath. He obviously has an experience like killing women. Like
Yeah.
that was an intense. Yeah.
Also, it's the second time the big guy puts her in a bear hug.
Here we see
That's
a Kenny
right.
closing the gates. Her and
Yeah, I thought
Cry.
that was a little fucked up, if I'm honest.
this part
It's
here.
like- yeah, because it's like, yeah, that they're serving in his army, and I get you're like, you don't want them to, gain power or whatever, put your position into question when the dust settles, but like, you're just gonna lock them in and make them burn to death. Like you
Yeah, it's
failed
like there's
the,
only 5 more of them. Like we can let them go through and then close it. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world here. Ma.
like the witch like morality quiz or test. She fails that one terribly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, I understand if there's like a big cloud of like poisonous gas like right behind them. There isn't. Like, we could probably leave this gate open for a good like minute or two and then close it and still be all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the guards are coming after them, and they were going to kill them.
I don't think they're coming after them. I think they're just trying to escape, aren't they?
Yeah, but they shoot Sakai here.
Oh, okay.
And-
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Well, they probably
like-
shot him because they're like, "Fuck you! You locked us in here." Burned to
Yeah.
death." That's karma, man.
Yeah, some great scenes though, considering great imagery. And Sakai's like, this is where you start to see a change in Akemi here. She just
That's the straw, man. That's the pivoting
Yeah.
moment for her.
yeah.
yep.
And
Which I
again,
like,
the
and-
artwork is
Well,
go ahead.
Sakai's like the only person from her childhood,
yeah,
other than like maybe Taigen. No, not even, because from her childhood. That's it. Everyone else is dead or like didn't give a shit about her or like couldn't because she's like, Shogun's daughter. So,
And I think she's realized that the only, maybe she hasn't realized it, but I think she's starting to gather that the only way she can truly be free is if she plays the political game. Like because every time she's attempted to actually break free from her station in life, it's always been met with returning back to that very same station that she's been trying to escape. So I think she's starting to embrace it now, especially with her mentor and father figure passing away in front of her. That's it. That's the last thread holding her to that kind of hope. And now she's just going to play this political game, it looks like.
And it's a pretty good opportunity to seize power because like a coup attempt succeeded and then immediately failed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like this giant power vacuum. So she's the first one there with a famous name. Bang, she's got her
Right.
foot in the door.
Mm-hmm. And I think she realizes that. And
well, I think the turning moment too was with Madame Kaji telling her like, men are simple and we can use them, and you actually have the power if you use your man correctly and use your sexuality. When they met in the back lane there, when Akemi actually jumped out of the carriage to greet them. And I think she's just like, because she adapts so quickly and so well to every environment that she's been put in. I think she's like taking, like you said there, Copa, and was it Enzo or Amateur, that she's taken everything in, and she's now realizing it's just her, and she's going to use everything that she's learned from Sakai, Madame Kaji, her father, everything, and she's going to become this this force.
Yeah,
Which
is great character work because like
yeah,
we followed her on like quite a journey, and like she's learned a lot of lessons. So like when they say that I'm gonna do what I want, right? Usually that's like cringe, whatever, right? That's like Mary Sue, 12-year-old girl fan fiction territory. But like here, we've seen her sort of struggle with these things. We've seen her be resourceful. We've seen her, take the hard road to get what she wants, and what she wants isn't necessarily noble, but like, we see her fail a few times and start to refocus on like, okay, what could work, what's important. So then when she does say it here, it makes her seem powerful. It doesn't make you roll your eyes, which is pretty interesting because like usually with a character like this, I would have had an eye roll moment, been like,
The girl
fine,
boss.
whatever, here we
The
go,
girl boss moment.
right.
yeah.
But it's like,
So,
no, it's like I want to see her
Cool
become.
when there's just a girl boss moment, not like a girl boss movie. The whole thing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. But it's not
Jesus.
cringy though, because every time they try to just like, okay, we need a girl boss moment here, it's bullshit. But here it's
why
like, okay,
does she
we're gonna
want to be a
build
girl
up.
boss? We saw. We
Yeah,
saw why.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And that's to bring it home is like you follow them on this journey and you understand why they're going to have this girl boss moment. It's not just all of a sudden they're like, oh, we need a girl boss moment here, and they've shoehorned it in. I think that's the big problem a lot of us have with today's modern storytelling, is that everything needs to be shoehorned in instead of building up to these moments.
Also, another reason why this girl boss moment is so much better is because they don't really, portray it in a 100% favorable light. You could be disagreeing with her actions. Like, why don't you just go with Tigan and be happy? It's like, I want to be great. And the audience member could be like, well, she's making the wrong decision,
That's where I was. I was like, no, that's the wrong decision. But
it's dangerous, risky.
Right.
No one's going to accept you because you're a whammon. Like, this might not work out, but like, you could run.
And the way they shoot her as well is that angle up shot, making her look powerful. She doesn't fit in the frame at all. And then you got the fire, the burning fortress behind her. It all spells foreshadowing to what her character is going to become. I think she's going to become
Khaleesi.
Yeah, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with in these future episodes.
Yeah.
Also, that's a little bit later. Sorry, I'll wait till we get to it. When we see Ringo.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about there, Enzo. Yeah.
No, you don't. I was going to bring up his Herman Munster shoes. I never noticed them.
Oh, sorry,
dude, I noticed those.
I'm sorry, dude. I thought you were going to bring up something different. Okay.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
never know what I'm going to bring up. No.
yeah. I'm sorry, brother.
No. What did you think I was going to bring up?
Well, I just thought, like, at the end there, when he was talking to the Swordmaster.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, he's looking. No, I'm saying when he's like looking over the burning city, like right after this scene. I just couldn't help but notice his gigantic Frankenstein shoes.
It's crazy, dude. Like, I noticed
I did not notice.
I did. Like, this was the episode too. I was like,
can we find a shot of this, please?
Oh, they're like predominant in
yeah.
one scene.
We'll cover this first.
What do you think of Tigan here? What do you think is the next phase for him? Like, after he's like realizing she's no longer interested in him. She's no longer that little girl, naive and gullible, and
Yeah,
probably gonna go back to his dojo, I would imagine.
Yeah,
I think eventually he's going to link up with Mizu, and they're going to have samurai babies.
Yeah.
They did connect pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think
he's going to
he's got to chase her down though.
He's going to put his samurai sword in her sheath. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are his big ass clogs he's wearing.
Oh, they have a better shot of him somewhere.
Yeah. It's literally Herman Munster was the thought I had in my head. I was like, whoa.
I'm sorry, man. I thought you were talking about something completely different.
Don't worry.
And this is like the breaking of the bones you guys were talking about with the bear hug.
And it's great because it also shows that, like, maybe all these Japanese dudes are very naive or just overly polite. They don't want to bring up or notice that Mizu's obviously a woman, but yeah, Fowler's the only guy who's like, oh, obviously she's a woman. I feel stupid for not noticing. But
I've broken many bones, men, women's bones. Yours is definitely a woman.
I can definitely tell the difference between a man and a woman once you snap their arm. It's like, God, he's so sick. And then she like pummels him in the face with her knee. It's surprising that he didn't die right there, honestly. And of course, he's got to kind of bargain his way. To survive. I know he starts dropping names and hinting like, maybe you're my kid. Maybe you're the blue-eyed one's kid. Maybe you're the tall guy's kid. Who knows? You won't know until I tell you, I don't know. It's very evil. It's all very snake-like.
He like watching this again earlier today, I would put him similar to the Joker in a lot of ways.
Right. Yeah, just talking about how he's like, you burned down the biggest city in the world as a blood sacrifice to your revenge.
Yeah, your white showing.
Your white side is showing, exactly. I mean, man, it's very Joker. It's like, you're going to break your one rule.
Yeah. And he goes, one word, London. Yeah.
I never found London to be a magical word, but
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, at one point in time, Delaware was.
Hey, I'm in Delaware. Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Delaware. Hi.
Sorry,
We're
I was
in
like 12
Delaware.
last time I saw
Yeah,
Wayne's
Copa
World.
got it. Copa
I got it. Oh, dude, Wayne's World's the shit. No Stairway. Denied.
Oh, I like this line. Don't you want to know which one tried to burn you alive as a baby?
Also, yeah, the big reveal that
Yeah.
that wasn't your mother. That was a nanny, a maid.
Yeah.
Your mother did get burnt, but he does say that your mother was killed.
Well, he mentions that wasn't the mom that she thought she had was not a mom. It was a maid. That was the maid. That was the fucking maid.
It is interesting
And-
that Fowler knows all of this about her when he should just be like, who are you again? Like, I don't even know. I had like 30 of my kids destroyed in a cave underneath my castle. But I know everything about you right now. Like,
What's
oh,
interesting,
yeah.
though,
She's
and
probably the
we
first.
do see it a
She's
lot
probably
in
the
this
first.
episode. He does know a lot of people really well. Like
True.
this guy, spills his guts out. It's like, oh, I didn't think you had it in you. This guy does this. It's like he knows them. He pays attention to everyone, which is like that's why he's so sinister. It's why he was able to infiltrate. Like he's been spending time just sitting there for like what do you say, 20 years, 10 years, however long it was, long friggin' time. He's probably read up on everyone and figured everyone out.
Jamalama asks
So it does make sense
mom
that
is
he
still.
knows.
He wonders if mom's still alive. I'm curious if the mom is in like London as a servant or something like that.
Could be. I doubt it. I'm quite convinced Mizu never knew her mom.
I
what I'm
think he's
saying?
telling the truth.
I do too.
100%. I really do. I believe him. And the reason why is because I feel like the writers were like, okay, we're going to have him reveal a whole bunch of cliffhangers here for everybody to want a season 2. Because you explained it, Amateur, and it does make a lot of sense that he has all this information. I'm just saying, man, he knows a lot about her backstory all of a sudden. Like, now that he knows that she's a woman, all of a sudden he's like, oh, yeah, you're the one. You're,
All right.
yeah, I know
He
everything
probably knows
about
the
you.
story. He just didn't know that it was her until probably like right in this moment.
Which leads me to believe that it's definitely not his daughter because like he's probably had an argument with the one individual that wanted to keep her alive. And
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be just guessing on who she is. I don't know. Like, it's
She does represent a security risk for him because she's the only one that kind of knows that he's there, like actually knows. So like he would have a vested interest in like either keeping her underground or having her killed if she was ever exposed, because it's like, oh, you're mixed breed. Well, who was here to make sure that you're mixed? People start asking questions.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that he would know who she is, but he might not have known that it was Mizu.
Also, it explains in episode 5 why like mother just kind of doped out because I stopped getting paid.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, I got opium habits to support.
yeah.
yeah, great scenery. My son will not make the same mistakes as his father did. And then we find out that Akemi's father's still alive, and we see Akemi, and she's like, "I'll take care of him." And so I guess Akemi's father is the Shogun now, right?
I
Is that
guess.
correct?
Yeah.
Because
I thought the son would be.
well, she said the son will be you're the Shogun now, but like I guess she was assuming that Akemi's father was dead because like he was supposed to be the next in line because
Right.
earlier in the episode he talks about how Abijah is gonna take out the Shogun and then he was gonna be next in line and work with Abijah.
Yeah, but that's
rightful
assuming
heir.
assuming that the
Yeah.
whole clan was killed though. And these
Yeah.
two are still of that clan,
Oh,
so they
okay,
have
yeah.
the right.
True.
I think they're just setting up the conflict for next season, if anything.
Mhm.
That too. She could be put in the middle of that as well, and that would be an interesting concept to explore.
Because if they're
Mhm.
Her father versus, her husband.
Do we know her father's alive? I thought
Yeah.
he died.
No, she's meeting him in the forest right now. In this scene.
Oh, right. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I had a big problem with Ringo's character design here. I don't know what's going on with his forearms. They seem too long. Is that just me?
I'm still
Or-
on his shoes, dude.
No, it's because when you're drawing the anatomy of a human, the hand should come down to like upper thigh. So his arms are coming like they're cut. His hands are like right at the like pretty much the base
They
of the
look like
thumb.
chicken wings, like his whole it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just hungry. Like
It just
always.
looks it just looks weird. That's basically. This is another character I love is the sword maker.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great character. Kari Hiroyuto Tagawa.
Shang Tsung. That's what I've
Yeah.
always just called him. He'll always be Shang Tsung to me. I'm sorry. Or Carrie. It's as far as I could go. Off the
But,
top of my head.
That's what I like about this show too is these physical disabilities that they have does not define the character. It never defines the character. They grow and past those disabilities to become useful somehow, and I think that's fantastic as well. Because once again, like with modern storytelling, something like that is just like, I'm physically disabled and you have to accept me how I am. And it's just like, no, this whole show is a showcase of like, the world is going to eat you alive unless you figure out some kind of usefulness in it. And it's with everybody. Every character has that issue going on. They're all trying to figure out their station and where they belong.
Yeah. I really appreciate that aspect of it for sure. Because you get so many. Like it's almost like the cultural attitude now where it's like, accept me as I am. I'm disabled, therefore everyone should just help me be disabled. And it's like, nah, it's bullshit. You should, figure out how to be, like the show says, figure out how to be useful with what you got. Like, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, we'll help you out and stuff. But like, like the fat influencers and all this stuff, just the attitude is just wallow in your defects and make people accept you for it.
Copa, would you like to tackle this comment?
Yes, I am a trained Yokozuna. I would not try to tempt me on the Shiko drills here.
Yes,
I will. I will Shiko the shit out of this channel if you want me to.
Nice. Crippled Masters.
Thank you, Sensei.
Crippled Masters was fucking amazing. If you guys have never seen. Oh, dude, Crippled Masters is fantastic kung fu
Pulling it
flick.
up right now.
Yeah, yep. Every single one of them has some kind of physical disability, but they kick the shit out of everyone. Great stuff.
I'm gonna watch that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
definitely gonna watch that.
I believe it's
never
Shaw
heard of
Brothers. Yeah, it's just
Oh, maybe I did see that one. Yeah, now I'm thinking of it.
1879.
Going back to this scene right here with Abijah locked up.
It's on YouTube.
I've mentioned this a few times tonight, but Joker vibes right there. Like that scene right there, like locked up, looking, furrowing, upset, thinking of a way to, plot his escape. Like, doesn't get much better.
Yeah. And then the fact that, like, even when he's lost, he still has a card to play. Or, like, maybe that is his card. Like, how deep does it go? That's very Joker.
Very Joker, yeah.
Joker-esque. She's got her hair like a girl now.
I was about to say she's letting her hair down there at the end.
Yeah.
Because
She's also got like her little kimono. Is that what it is? It's all stitched up in various places. She's been injured and stabbed and stuff.
Yeah, Michael Green and Amber Nozumi definitely did a great job of writing this series. It's top notch for me. I really enjoyed it. Well, let's get to rating this out of 10 based on the whole series, and I'll start with you, Amateur, out of 1 to 10, or whatever system you want to use. Like, Cannoli always says.
Yeah, I'll do out of 10. Out of 10
Yeah.
gives you the most wiggle room. I think originally I gave it a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
Was it no, it was an 8.5. 8.5. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to stick with that because I don't know. I've learned a bit more about it, and then I've come to realize other things. Like, yes, it's great. You know, you have good character arcs, especially the redemption arc with Taigen. You have, your contrasting characters. The Revenge Quest is great. The animation's great. Background, art design, it's all phenomenal. But like, there's a couple episodes that are like kind of weak, and then there's just here and there a few things that are just a bit silly to me. Like the candle just lighting shit up immediately. Abijah just, I didn't even notice him running away, but like that definitely doesn't help. But like the fact that Taigen and Mizu after all this can't just easily beat him up. They heal too quickly. A lot of that can come down to just like being a bit like leaning a bit into fantasy, because it is, at the end of the day, it is animation. But like, I don't know. I feel like if they tightened some of that up and kept the realism a little better, I would have gave it a 9. But I'm pretty happy with an 8.5. Love it. Very compelling. Yeah.
Excellent. Enzo, what do you get there, bud?
I give it a solid 7.5, but compared to Netflix, 10, solid 9 or 10. Now, when you compare it to the stuff on Netflix, but compared to everything, it's definitely a solid watch.
Well, you haven't seen Arcane yet, have you?
No, I haven't, and I'm sure Arcane is going to be in the same rating. The question is, like, which one am I going to like more?
Arcane, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arcane's rock solid. Start to finish.
Arcane is like if you gave these guys another 4 fucking years. Like,
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. 7.5.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, we got 8.5, 7.5. Copa, what are you giving this, brother?
Man, I'm going right in the middle. I'm going to be the meat in this sandwich and go 8. Solid 8. Solid 8 out of 10. It could be perfect, but the stuff that Amateur brought up for sure bugged me. I thought she healed too quickly, even though, like, once again, like, it's fantastic to actually watch your protagonist, who happens to be female, actually get the shit kicked out of her, and they don't shy away from that whatsoever. So that was fantastic. But at the same time, like, they didn't establish these rules where she's going to heal really quickly until maybe the 3rd or 4th episode. And then by then you're not really fully bought into that, or at least I wasn't. And it's just a lot of little things, like some, like with Fowler running away and stuff like that. I was just like, dude, that just doesn't make sense with this character. The bad shit aside, this is rock solid from a writing standpoint. It looks like they had a lot of fun telling the story. And a lot of callbacks to earlier episodes and earlier elements coming up later in later episodes. I just thought it was fantastically done. It was very carefully written. It wasn't haphazard, and there wasn't this social message being pushed into you, and making you try to buy into the social message. There are messages throughout it, but these characters grow, and they grow organically. There's nothing really forced or shoehorned into these characters, and I thought it was a fantastic character study to watch. One of the best of 2023, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. The characters definitely feel real.
Yeah,
as fantastical as they can be sometimes.
Yeah, and like you said, there's the fantasy element to this story. Yes, absolutely, and these characters can like practically die in every episode and come back. Sure, but at the same time, like you're watching these characters, and you fully buy into what they believe in, and as they continue to progress and change, you see it, and maybe you don't agree with it, but at the same time, you recognize it on some kind of level. Even with Fowler, I mean, we brought it up before when he talks about his sister, and you go, dude, like, I kind of understand, like, why this dude is such a bad dude. And yeah, like he's smiling about it or he's just nonchalant about it. But at the same time, you go, damn, like he went through some shit. Like you understand kind of
Yeah.
his position in life at this point.
Yeah,
Solid
I don't
stuff.
condone, but I get it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I give it like an 8.5, 8.5. I really enjoyed the writing, the dialogue. Some of the lines in there were just fantastic. I was just like, oh, damn, that's brilliant. Like I mentioned, I love Abijah in the chapel. That was like probably of all time one of my top scenes that I really appreciate. I love that kind of type of scene, like where it's just you see the evilness. I appreciate all the character arcs as well. I love it wasn't rushed. They let them develop naturally. Like the negatives in there, like some of the music kind of threw me off throughout the series. Kind of poor choices, like with the Kill Bill scene.
Oh my god, can we stop it with the fucking Kill Bill action theme song, whatever the fuck that's called. I'm so tired of hearing that shit.
Bam, bam, bam,
Right.
Yeah, it was barely good when Tarantino did it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. Some of the music kind of threw me off. I would have stuck with the traditional Japanese music.
Yeah.
Play off that thought too, dude. For Whom the Bell Tolls, just randomly thrown in there by Metallica.
Metallica.
Yeah,
I
didn't
fucking
mind.
love that song though.
Yeah, that was a
The
great
Japanese version was actually really cool.
song. Yeah, I didn't mind that. But some of the exaggerations, but I mean, we get that with animation. You know, like Mizu healing fast, even Taigen healing fast. Some of the stuff that but you kind of forgive it because it's a cartoon, it's fantasy. Like you could say that for any movie. Like even in Arcane, you look at some of the lead characters. She's wearing these huge gloves. She would probably fall to the ground wearing those huge gloves.
I think Arcane does do a better job establishing like the rules.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
like it definitely, like right away, it's like, this is fantasy, okay?
Yeah,
this isn't one-to-one reality at all.
Yeah,
like
right.
It's steampunk and we live underground. Like
yeah.
The one thing I couldn't really buy into at all is when she's carrying Taigen on her back on the side of the castle. I was just dude, I'm really trying to buy into this, and I just can't. Like, this just doesn't make sense whatsoever.
Well,
they're trying to develop some action, right? And so
well,
I know they're trying to,
like, you go from like this very visceral, like serious and very realistic, like swordsmithing technique, like the discipline of swordsmanship, becoming a samurai, all these teachings and stuff, and then you're jumping down a cliff and landing on your wrist. It's like you got to pick a lane, like tonally. Right. Like if you're gonna be fantasy, be fantasy. Like if you made your katana from some giant fucking press that was made by the gods or whatever, like it would be a lot easier to accept when someone like jumps around like a fucking superhero, right? But like when you're crouched in this little hut, banging it together with hammers, and it's very, very realistic and analogous of real life. It's much harder to accept, fantastical fight scenes or abilities and whatnot.
That's why I was saying, like, when she comes into the tea house in the beginning, like, they should have really established that was their chance. There's realistic elements mixed with fantasy going on in here. So I don't know how they could have done it with that setting, but I'm sure there's a way where by the time you get to her having Taigen ride her shoulders as she climbs up the side of a mountain, and both of them are practically on death's doorstep, it would make sense to the viewer's mind. But I mean, see, and that's the thing, is like, that's little things. Like, that took me out of it. But
nitpicking in here,
that's just me nitpicking at this point.
You forgive it pretty quickly. So those are just the little things that kind of just, I agree, kind of throw you off for the moment. The animation was incredible. The 2D put into handcrafted to give that 3D effect. The color schemes. I really loved how they portrayed Mizu and Ringo with these dark, drabby colors, and even the weather's dark, and like the whole setting's dark. And then you see the Lord and the Shogun, and everything is bright, it's vibrant, indicating the rich and royalty of it all. Like everything that they did with the color schemes, the animation was done really, really, really well. Like you said, considering how small this studio is, there, Amateur.
Yeah.
8.5 for me. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it was the best thing in 2023. One of the best things. Well, animation wise, probably the best one.
Yeah. One more thing I want to point out with the animation too is the camera work, which isn't normally something you'd ever talk about in animation, but like in here they treat the camera like it's actually live action. Like the camera has to be somewhere and it's always doing something and it's always adding to the shot. Like Arcane does this too. I think Arcane might actually be some of the best fucking camera work ever done in an animated anything, really. It's quite phenomenal. Like they're doing focus pulls, like weird, complicated camera moves that you would never be able to do in real life, but it's using all the rules of a real camera. And it's almost like its own character, you know, and it adds so much to stop things from feeling flat, adding energy, making like slowing things down. You know, it's done really, really well because it never jumps out, and when it does, it's always for like a wow moment. Like they pull wide or they do like some really high depth of field to make you focus in on something, or really long depth of field to make everything feel boring and flat if they wanted to. You know, it's just.
All right. And what you bring up is I'll bring up Princess Akemi and her hinging moment there on the bridge. Like they have that close up of her, or medium close up of her, and the camera's angled up, and you see the fortress burning in the background, and it's stuff like that where it's like, okay, so they're conscious of making her look large. They're conscious of her perspective, which is her hair. Her entire body is not covered in the frame. You know, they make sure that the hair stays out of the frame, so she looks even larger than she should be.
Yeah.
And then you have the fire burning in the background as well to represent the foreshadowing of where I think they're going to take her character. And you're absolutely right. It's like things of that nature that you wouldn't really think of in an animation. But I remember vividly this morning watching the 8th episode. I'm like, this camera shot, especially of this, is just like, this is perfect. It's a very cinematic moment.
Yeah. And you know it's intentional because it's animated. Right. Like where if it was live action, it could potentially have been a happy accident.
Yeah.
True.
Also, Watami, thanks for joining us, bro. I appreciate all the kind words you guys. The 8.5 out of 10 of the stream. It's all these guys that are joining me. These guys are great. Actually, Andrew, Michael Bancroft, Enzo, Amateur, like these guys are great. I'm just a guy just doing a stream.
Pshaw.
Yeah, and doing my Shiko drills because Sensei here would like start caning me.
True.
8.5 out of 10. I appreciate it, you guys. All the kind words. Yeah, it's great. We are going to do Arcane next. That's going to be at the beginning of February. We're going to do that. I know Andrews wants to be a part of it. I believe Amateur and Enzo said they're on board.
So we got a few weeks.
Yeah, we have a few weeks. And Copa, you're always welcome on here, sir. Sensei.
Thank you.
You're always welcome on here. So
I would love to. I would love to come talk, chit chat about Arcane because that was a fantastic show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're on our way to Oz. We got the 5. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss about this series? What are your thoughts about season 2? And chat, please chime in what you think season 2, the potential. Do you think it's going to be your typical second season and it's going to suck balls, which normally happens with second seasons or sequels? Do you think there's something going to happen with Mizu, Taigen, Ringo, you name it? You guys, Amateur, go ahead. What are your thoughts leading into season 2? What do you think is the potential for it?
Well, I have a feeling that the very first episode is going to be them in a storm in a boat. Um, I think the second season, if I had to guess, just based on how the pacing of the first season went, we might not even get to London by the end of the season.
Yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the goal of
Oh.
the season. Maybe we're
Yeah,
getting
it'll
ahead of
probably be-
ourselves.
I'm thinking it'll be like the split story where we have like what's going on in Japan with the characters we know, and then plot A will be
Yeah, I think
Mizu
it's going to
and
be like good,
Fowler
bad, and
on
the
the ship.
ugly, almost like traveling with a what do you call it? Like traveling with a prisoner or
Yeah. Also, Japan to London is not like Japan to Hawaii. It's easy.
oh, it's the other side of the planet
exactly.
Earth
Japan-
in the
you have to cross
1600s,
You have to cross through a bunch of crap to get to London.
and they're basically in a schooner. So like it's going to be rough. At least it should be. If they just teleport to London, I would be a bit disappointed, if I'm honest.
They could easily take it to India since
Oh,
England's sitting there colonizing India. They could take it
They could
there
get-
and just, but
Like, which way are they going? Is the other question. They're going to go through Asia and have to fight like 3 different pirate syndicates, and
are the Mongols like faded out at that point, or like there is Genghis Khan is
that's
yeah, that's like
500
200-300
earlier.
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Okay,
I don't know if they fucked around with the ocean at all either. Like you're looking at like what would become Somalia, the pirates coming from that. You're looking at pirates from India. You're looking at pirates from East Africa. You're looking at Arabs. You're looking at, there's like a bunch of nations in between that are pretty wild and unwealthy and chaotic at that time. So
well, Rome, could that be a possibility?
Rome is totally collapsed.
Rome
at
is
this point.
it's
Okay.
it's not even split into 2 anymore.
I don't even think it's called Rome. I think it's literally like the Church, the
Yeah.
Vatican, and then Italy.
Mhm.
Because there's
Okay.
already been a couple
Oh yeah,
crusades
that
by
would
this
that-
point.
yeah, that would
Oh,
be
there's
true.
Well, I was
been
thinking,
4
like-
or 5 crusades.
Like the East Roman Empire with Turkey and Constantinople, but I think that's already
I
split
think that
off.
might.
and
I think that might have been 1500s.
I think you're.
I'm
dealing
not a
with the
history
Ottoman-
buff.
I think that's the Ottoman Empire at that point in the 1600s.
Yeah.
Might be wrong on
Yeah, I'm not the best when it comes to
1200 to
history.
368. Thanks for that,
especially-
Dempsey.
Yeah, the Ottoman Empire. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a lot to me. Yeah,
John
I'm just
Osawatomie.
curious. I really hope, like, because it's getting all this praise and it's getting some acclaim and everything. I just hope they don't let greedy hands get in there and push like certain agendas or anything. Like that's my worry. With
Kind of
like,
doubt it. The studio is still so small. Like they've expanded a bit because of the promise of like season 2 and then 3 and 4. Apparently, it hasn't been officially greenlit, but it's sort of like, yeah, you can do pre-production. We're probably gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just worried because money talks, and
Yep. This is
that's
true.
always my worry.
That's
Hopefully
and
that just goes to expanding their current facilities, but we'll see.
it seems kind of promising because they did have this ending where they obviously leave it open for a second season, even though they weren't renewed at that particular moment of time of writing it. So hopefully they have some idea and they just run with those ideas that they came up with just in case they did get renewed.
Yeah.
But you never know,
Sony might just fucking buy it.
right? Or they just might go, "Oh, we have a hit, and what did the people like? They liked XYZ, but XYZ might just be people that they always listen to or whatever. They're not hearing from like
it might
the
just be,
actual
oh look,
fans.
girl boss, that's working. Let's push
Yeah,
this."
that's working. So let's just push that times 10. White Man Bad is times 20 now, and there you go. You've just ruined season 2. But I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait
That's
for
gonna
that
be-
to drop.
Mizu running around the streets of London, experiencing racism from white people,
Right.
and realizing they're worse than the Japanese.
And that's the worrisome part, because so it makes sense that she's going to experience some kind of racism in London. So that makes sense. So But the story there would be she's not accepted anywhere.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
So that's the cool that's the cool part. That would be the cool part to watch, is that she's essentially someone without a home.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be, hey, if you thought Japan was bad, wait till she gets to London type of deal. Well,
That would be pretty lame, because
would
Japan
be-
at this point is the most racist place on earth. So.
exactly. Like, they treated her like shit. Like, as soon as they saw those blue eyes, like, she was
Yeah, and she was half Japanese. Imagine if she was zero Japanese.
right. She was an animal to them, just being half Japanese.
Do you
So-
think this is going to be like an Ariel Little Mermaid moment where, yeah, she gets to London and she's accepted and
No,
She
no,
blends.
no, I hope not. I hope not.
yeah. My thoughts there, Asawatami. Do you see season two prediction? I think she's going to become this character that is caught in a land where, like, she's in an unknown environment where before she knew the lay of the land, she knew what she was doing. I think she's going to be caught off guard, and I think Abijah is going to be a character that she's going to have to rely on. And even though she has him as a prisoner, I think he's going to have a lot of pull and get away and leave her on her own to fend for herself. She's probably going to have the information with her. Like, I think, like I've said this earlier in the episodes, I think it's going to be this Batman Joker kind of type story arc where the Joker gets away, just like the song. The Joker gets away, but there's going to be like the Riddler, the Penguin, and Mr. Freeze, or whoever you want to say, that she's going to encounter, and each one's going to have a different role, and they're going to have different characteristics that are going to kind of throw her off. She's probably going to meet a character in there, one of the three, that is this incredibly villainous, like incredibly vile and evil, but has extreme composure and political, and knows how to grift his way through the world. I kind of see it like that, but
I kind of have that feeling too. We're gonna get a new baddie that's just more suave and more complicated and better at hiding their evil.
I think Abijah, even though how we look at him and he's an incredible character, I think he's the lesser of the evils. I think
He hinted at that.
He's Irish.
yeah.
I think he
Right.
might just be a different type of evil. Like he's evil because of his pleasures, and he's kind of a bit sick because he had such a fucked up upbringing, and he's a bit of a narcissist. But
Oh, thanks, Jamalama. Thank you. I appreciate that. These guys, man. I'm like, these
No,
guys
stop.
are great. They come on here and they take the time to, talk about this.
Maybe
hey, I'm
these
not
two.
EFAPing. I'm just peanut gallery.
Yeah.
No, you guys have awesome takes, man. I'm a simpleton. I talk caveman, and I just listen to you guys talk
Talk
about it. Yeah, me like color,
Fucking
smile.
knuckle dragger.
Yeah. Do I think she'll puncture the other foot in season 2? Probably. I think
It's okay.
she's gonna get-
Dude, give her like 2 minutes and a couple breaths. She'll be fine. She'll just
Dunk her head in a bucket of water. Reset.
Oh, there you
I
go.
could-
Yeah.
I could see I could see her getting punctured in another way, but not a pleasant way. I could see that
Ooh.
happening. I could see, just based on the first season, I could see, just based on how the marriage that she had and how she thought she was going to be used by her husband, and he says, "I'm not a brute." I think we're going to see the complete opposite in season 2. I would think that she's going to meet a gentleman, and he's just going to treat her and abuse her in all sorts of ways. So
Oh, I like that. Let's
yeah.
watch
Yeah.
that. That sounds enjoyable.
That would track.
yeah,
With the way they tell the story so far, that would definitely track.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
She
sort
can't
of
have anything
exploring the
too
other
happy
side. No.
in her life. Like
What if
everything
she
that
falls in
everything
love
that
with a
brings
white
her.
man?
What?
Mm.
What if she falls in love with a white man? That'd be cool.
Oh boy.
That'd be interesting.
That's
white
what I
devil.
mean.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
not-
could, and you know what? It could be one of the three
Oh God.
without her knowing.
Which one's my father and which one's my husband and which
That would
one's
be
my
gross.
enemy? I know.
That would be
That
like
would be
the
very anime.
that would be Old Boy.
What's
They
the
moved to Alabama.
Yeah.
the
Oh,
opposite of
God.
the Oedipus? The Electra complex, where you want to have sex with your dad. Woman wants to have
Yeah,
sex with
the
her dad.
Oedipus.
opposite, yeah.
No.
No, that's
Oedipus.
mom.
Electra. Yeah, Oedipus
Oh.
is the mom. Electra complex is the daughter and dad. Gross.
Correct.
Ew.
Both are equally gross.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Can
can
hear
we
the
had a
angel
thing there.
music starting already.
Well, no, it probably wouldn't be her dad, but it'd be a guy that works with her dad. That's where you could see that trope, like this guy is a banker
Yeah.
or something, and he works.
She's
for
got to
her
choose
dad.
between killing the
Yeah.
dad and
Yeah, she's in a Kemi moment. She's in that moment where do I like? What side do I? What man do I choose?
Every woman wants to go through a notebook type situation secretly, where you got two guys fighting over you, and you honestly don't know which one to choose. Sure, there's appeal to that fantasy,
Yeah.
that trope.
There's
Hell yeah.
so many ways to go.
Hell yeah. Notebook.
no
Yeah.
fucking love triangles, please. I hate love triangles so much.
Yeah,
Or
that's
they could just go Debbie Does Dallas, route and just she just goes.
Ooh, get them both.
Oh,
Yeah, have them
yeah.
both at the same time. There you go.
She's got a swirl going inside her. Got it.
I got more than one hole. Tight.
Any final words before we kind of call it the night, guys? Anything you want to talk about before we take off? Amateur, what do you got going on this week?
I'm on. Let's see now. Yeah, I'm on the Cannoli Sasquatch Monday Madness movie Madness Monday, however order you say it. Going to be doing part 1 of the Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Wait, part 1 of part 2, which means there'll be a part 2 of part 2 later.
I'm assuming so.
Okay,
There's 6
That-
parts,
that-
just like the books
that makes sense.
and the extended DVDs.
All right.
And then other than that, nothing. I'm just plugging away at a couple videos that I've been working on for far too long. I'm gonna try to get the Samurai review out in a timely manner. I figured out what's wrong with it. I just got to sit down and do it. Arcane's gonna be a while, so don't hold your breath. I'm lucky to get it out by the spring, if I'm honest. It's kind of ballooning. Script is fucking
Yeah.
huge now. Yeah, that's basically it.
Enzo, what do you got going on there, bud?
Tomorrow I'm going to be on Northern English Bastards channel doing a live stream at 4 p.m. Central Time to talk about Dream Scenario. And then Saturday, noon Central Standard Time, I'll be on Uninspired Reviewers channel, the two hosts special to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, Starship Troopers.
Hell yeah.
I can talk about that movie for 8 hours if I wanted to.
Dude. Starship Troopers, not to break your flow up here, but Starship
No,
Troopers
go
was
for it.
one of those movies where I saw it in theaters, didn't like it. And then the more I watched it, the more I fell in love with it. One of my favorite movies of all time now.
I love it. I love it.
I definitely didn't get it the first time I watched it, but
Yeah.
second time
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Like
The Terran
there's-
Federation did nothing wrong. The Arachnids are an
Dude.
existential threat to humanity.
Buenos Aires was an inside job.
No, I disagree. I think the Arachnids are literally just an existential threat to humankind, and we were forced to go to war with them. It's bad. they're bad. It's what happens when a species is evolved to be communists. They those damn commie bugs. No, but it's basically like hive minds versus individuals. They don't understand that humans are individual creatures. They think of us as one opposing hive.
What
Anyway.
I love about that movie. Just one last thing. 'cause-
Let's do Starship Troopers.
yeah, let's just break into Starship Troopers now.
Damn you,
Retitle this.
Enzo!
But what I love about it is that the whole movie might be a propaganda piece for the
True.
interwebs.
Yeah, the lovely young people who are tricked to go fight bugs, thinking it's going to be easy. It's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I'm going to be on Leon's channel at 3 p.m. on Monday, and then I'll probably do an after party stream on my channel after that, which you guys are more than welcome to always come to, where we goof off. And
That's great. That's great.
Scene Invaders. I'll be making a debut on Scene Invaders Wednesday.
Nice.
So got a bunch of shit going on. A lot of movies.
Also,
all the Wii watches. All the Wii watches from now on are gonna have crisp audio on my guests. I'm so excited. So next week will be a gnome named Norm, and you'll be able to understand my cousin for once. It's gonna be great. Excited.
Copa, where are you going to be, buddy?
What is it? Saturday. So it will be Circle of Jerks on somebody's channel. I think it's Flaccid's channel this time. Not sure, but I'll probably be there, most likely, with Zax, AJ, and Flaccid Phoenix. And then God only knows after that. But I do have 2 videos coming out here soon. One on the bear, because I just can't get the show out of my mind. I have to check. I have to constantly talk about this show.
I'm doing those episodes tomorrow night, so you'll be hearing from me.
I
6
just
and
know
7
I'm gonna
or
be eating hot beef sandwiches like the whole time I'm watching it. It's gonna be
don't
so
they
hard
look
to not
so
want to make
good?
them.
Stupenzo,
Yeah.
don't they? Oh my god, those beef sandwiches in the season 1.
What's that
As
pepper
a
stuff
line
they
cook,
put on
I'm
it?
gonna have to watch this.
Giardini. What's it called?
You haven't watched it, Amateur?
I
haven't seen
haven't.
it yet.
No.
Oh dude,
Oh,
it's one of the best shows on TV. It's the best
One of
show
the
on TV right now.
Best line, one of the best lines ever.
What's
I
it
love
on?
that line.
Go ahead, say it,
FX.
Jay.
I was I am not who I am because of Van Halen. I'm in Van Halen because who I am.
Right. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a fantastic show. So I gotta get out of my system. I gotta talk about it more. It'll probably be the last time I talk about it until season 3. So dropping that video, and then I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to make a video about your first scene and how important your first scene is in writing, like pretty much anything fictional, but
Hell yeah.
mainly with screenplays and stuff like that. So those 2 videos are going to drop a week after each other. So there you go. That's what I'm up to. I want to make it back to the original show, Triple M, but on Cannoli's channel. But man, like Mondays are just hectic for me. So as soon as I can, I get back there because they're doing Lord of the Rings, if I'm not mistaken.
Hell yeah.
So
I snuck in and got the last spot on that.
good.
Yeah, they gave me a big list of movies, and I was great. I was like, the movie I want to watch most is in March, so I'll wait. I can wait till March.
Which movie is that?
The Incredibles. I can't wait.
It's a good one.
I just want to
Bird, hell
say,
yeah.
if people watching this channel, and I know you are because you love the Gooch, become part of the Gooch army, like everyone here. Please subscribe to these guys' channels if you haven't. These guys have incredible channels. They have great content. Good friends of mine and great guys. They're freaking hilarious, all 3 of them. So,
Also
please,
follow me on
subscribe.
Twitter. I only have like 77 followers on Twitter, and
Well, we got to change that now. So
How did I pass you? I don't even vote.
yeah, everyone passes me. I got 307 subscribers on YouTube, and it's okay. I don't mind. I'm just Twitter is a little sad though, because like I'm feel like I'm screaming in the void on Twitter.
As for me, I will be. You can catch me on Saturday. I'll be on Lance's in the afternoon. I think 3 p.m. Central. I'll be on Lance's channel going over that Korean movie, Northern.
Oh right, I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. Okay,
Yeah.
Great, good.
I gotta watch the movie though.
Me too. It's on Tubi. We'll be on Lance's channel, so you can catch us there. And then I will be jumping off of that, going right into Saturday Night Hypnosis with the crew. That's always a great time, so come check that out. Sunday, I don't know if Bagface and if Andrew are doing that New Year's channel. I don't know if that's happening because they're kind of going on. So that's a possibility. Monday I'll be on Cannolis doing Lord of the Rings. Tuesday who knows, I'll probably be bouncing around Tuesday. Every time I say I'm not doing anything, all of a sudden I'm on the stream. Wednesday, but check out Wednesday, I'll have Bone Bridger on my channel. Me and him will be chatting. Bone Bridger, good friend of mine. Have him on. We'll be talking about his career on the YouTube channel. He was on Critical Drinker tonight, so it was good seeing him on there. Guy deserves it. He works hard. Great guy. I'll have him on. And then next Thursday, I'm on Vex's podcast, so I'll be doing that.
Her podcast, 8750.
Yeah, 8750.
Okay.
I'll be.
Word,
I'll be on that.
Word.
And I'm looking forward to that. And again, please subscribe to Diabolical Souls Presents. Be a friend, tell a friend about DSP. Join the Gooch Army. Join these guys. I want to thank these guys again for coming on. I want to thank everyone that's come on the stream to do Blue Eye Samurai review. That includes Michael Bancroft and actually Andrew. And to the chat, you guys are freaking awesome. I freaking appreciate all of you guys. You guys rock it every time you come on here. All the comments, they're great. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys join us when we do Arcane, because that's going to be a crazy time. That's going to be a lot of fun, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to jump on there. So
I have a lot to say.
Yes, you do. Go check out his review. Actually, now I think of it, go check out Amateur Analyst's review, because it's top notch, excellent. Really well done. So that, or you can watch him when I interview him on my channel here. That was
you can also watch my Top Gun video on Rumble.
Yeah, there you go.
Exclusively on Rumble.
Exclusive.
I have a deal with them.
Yeah, you're Rumble bottom out. That's what happened.
And I just want to say thank you to Coach last night. He came on the channel last night. The Oracle came on, and we had a great conversation. Great guy. Go check out his channel as well. So everyone that I've mentioned, go check out their channels, please. Like, they're good people. There's a lot of good people in this circle, and it's been nothing but a blast meeting these people. So everyone, please take care. Anything else you want to say before we close it out, you guys, or are we good?
Oh, good, man.
I enjoyed every minute.
Oh, thank you, Sensei. Thank you so much, Sensei. I hope I don't get caned later. I hope I get a little bit of water.
It will just be a minor caning. It's just a slight caning.
Rice? Do we get rice?
Well, yeah, you have to have the rice.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Sensei. All right, everyone, take care. We'll see you in February. Beginning of February, we're going to be doing Arcane, so everyone look out for that. Take care.
Excited.
Good night.
See you guys.
Later, dudes.